Mercury retrogrades. Now we're live. Now we are actually live.
Take two, Mercury retrograde. Welcome everybody to Tarot Talk Tuesday. We are live today, and today's card, we are up to number 13, the Death card.
Oh no.
So I'm going to go first, and what I would like to say first is I'd shout out to Dolores Ashcroft Nowicki, who wrote a fantastic meditation for the 32nd path, the Malkuth meditation.
Ooh.
And we can see so much of that Kabbalistic journey in this card. People don't realize, we've got the little river Styx back here. We're coming up to the enlightenment that you see on the moon card. And this guy, all dressed in black, riding a white horse, has the same feather in his cap that the Fool and the Sun do. There's so much going on in this card. We could really go on and on about the pictorial part of it, but I know Anton really likes to do that.
Do I? No, please go on.
No, I'm not finished, but I'm going to let you talk about I know you like to talk about the picture parts. So I'm going to talk about the meaning of this card.
Sounds good.
Now, as a reader, when people see this, if they're new to the tarot, when your clients come, they get really freaked out and they think that this card is all about gloom and doom and upset. But the Death card is really about change and renewal, wiping the slate clean and starting over, right? The king is dead, long live the king. So you can see that one era is kind of ending here under the white horse, and another era is beginning. And this character looks very religious or very papal, sort of like he's giving a blessing to the new king. I also would like you to compare this card to the Knight of Cups. And when you look at them together, you can see that this character is kind of a messenger as well, because we know all the knights are messengers. So the message here is get ready to embrace change. There is a death and a resurrection. This card is the Scorpio card. And Scorpio's house is the house of death and psychic awareness and other people's money, so the benefits from others. But it very much is a message of working to embrace change. Even though we know that Scorpio is a fixed sign, it's the fixed water sign. And if we look at the strength that water has, because Scorpio is a very strong, powerful energy, water can wear hole in a stone. Water can wear a path for a river. Water in abundance can change the path of that water. Right? So the river can flow and change the direction. So this is about embracing change, knowing that a new energy is going to take over that is very positive, that there is a blessing within this death. So when I see this card in a reading, I almost always ask people if they've ever seen the Tina Turner story, that movie. Because she's praying for that kind of change and renewal. She's embraced Buddhism, and she's chanting Om Namah Shivaya with her little mala beads to bring about this great change, this great transformation, this great resurrection. So this card is very much about letting go of something that no longer serves you, changing your course for a more positive direction to reach the light that you need to reach, and to kind of move yourself across that deep river. So That's my take.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, yeah, the death card. Well, let a quick shout out to everybody who's watching us. Thank you so much for joining us. We decided to do this one as a live today because we've got so much on our plate. We
figured if we didn't do it now, we might not get it in before bed.
just get in the studio and get it done. So, yes, thank you, everybody.
Hi, Wendy, Miranda, and Amber. No, it's not a box opening.
And it's sadly not a box set. Well, we did open the box of tarot, but this is kind of cool. So it's interesting. First two people mentioned that this card came up for them in readings.
Well,
not
we had
surprising.
the Scorpio full moon.
Come on now, Scorpio full moon and a total eclipse of the moon as well. You know, talk about change.
So very much about eclipsing something out and starting something new.
Absolutely, and the fact that it's like the eclipses where it tricks time. You get the moon goes through all of its phases, its entire life cycle, one entire lunation in the space of a couple of hours. I actually went outside and watched it, so the neighbours probably think I'm nuts. Who's this strange bloke in the driveway gawking at the moon? Well, it's a strange bloke.
But it just so happened to be the Scorpio moon, which this card represents Scorpio.
Exactly. So as Lisa says, this card very much is about change and total transformation. Now, generally speaking, people do not undie. You know what I'm saying? This is very much, like an arrival at a point of complete and utter transformation. So this for both Lisa and I, obviously, there can be a physical death connotation with this card, depending on where it goes. I mean, especially if it's associated with Ten of Swords, for example. Things may be looking a little bit hairy there.
But Anton and I really aren't gloom and doom readers, so we're going to try to give you alternative ways that you can make something a little better.
But we all have to kiss goodbye to things that do not serve us. And this, for me, I mean, it's often said death is the final initiation, if you will. But it's only the end if you think the story is about you, which is kind of interesting. For me, this is arrival at a place from which you can't go back. It's like, when you initiate an explosion, you can't uninitiate that explosion.
Right, you've crossed the river and there's no bridge going back. The ferryman's left.
The point of no return has arrived. So if this is a case of like coming to maybe a realization of something in your life, and that once you've got it, you can't go back to being blissfully ignorant anymore. You can't go back and go, well, I don't know about that, because you do know about that, and what you've learned causes you to transform and change and transform. And change is the only constant, it really is. And it's quite interesting because this is a deep personal change, because as far as everybody else sees on the outside, maybe nothing's changed, Le roi est mort, vive le roi. The king is dead, long live the king, Here we've got this newborn king, or not necessarily newborn, but young, innocent child who's suddenly got
take
kingship.
The throne and responsibility and all that kind of stuff.
We still got a king. We still have to do our whatever, shovel whatever. We've still got to do that on a daily basis. But for this fella, who's obviously had way too many, bacon butties, he's pegged it. He's pegged it. He's snuffed it. So the bishop's here with all these platitudes, and it's interesting looking at the hand signals of that. Look, especially when we get into the devil as well and all that. What's going on with the hands? The hands are really important, There's nothing on this card by accident, we have to tell you. So yeah, here's death on his white charger, and very much like, what's with that flag? The white rose? Ooh. What's with white roses anyway? Oh.
Isn't the fool who has the same feather in his cap carrying a white rose?
Isn't he carrying a white rose? Yes.
Must be some sort of marker on a journey, I think.
So you might want to go back and watch the other episodes thus far, because there is so much going on here. Feathers and white roses that we've got. What does it all mean? Well, obviously, the death's come along in his white charger, and he's going to carry the newly departed down to the River Styx, whereupon he pays said ferryman and crosses over, and look at what happens beyond. I know we'll do a cutaway later and put this in, you know, but this is so reminiscent, the rising sun behind those two towers.
On
So
the moon
again,
card, oddly
on
enough.
the moon card, but then again, the moon looks like the sun.
And it looks very similar to the way the sun is rising on Temperance, the next card.
How interesting is that? So this certainly shows this is not an end, but like a beginning. A new beginning, and it really is for both Lisa and I. This is like wipe the slate clean, you know. All right, chuck the ruined omelette in the trash, clean the pan. Let's get on with it. Let's cook something again, you know. And it really is. It's a reset and a reimagining, and definitely a renaissance, a rebirth,
and paying attention to your psychic self, your inner guide, your depth of soul that says, okay, where's the journey taking you now? If that part of your journey is behind you and you have that feather, you have that experience, and now you're kind of flying your flag of, surrender, peace, and innocence and heading out again, where are you going? Where are you going this time? Where is this blessed journey taking you? How are you going to reach the light? And what is it that you're leaving behind on the path that you've already, traversed?
It's interesting that the number of this card is 13, which scares a lot of people in and of itself. But the number 13 is really, really important because that's how many lunations there actually are in a year as well.
It also reduces to 4, which connects us to the Emperor, that firm foundation.
It really is quite a meaningful card, this. But look at the flow of water. The flow of water continues, as Lisa says. And it's been, we see it. We see its inception, almost perhaps, in the mountains where the Fool is at. We see that almost. Well, this is where the icy melt is going to start to melt and come down. And you can trace that. Yeah. And it's almost like this water is representative of the stream of Awen, if you will. In and of itself.
And life, death, and rebirth. If they listen to the poem you wrote for River is Flowing, it explains the cycle of water.
And for those of you that are familiar with the resurrection of Llay in the 4th branch of the Mabinogi, remember that Gwydion, the great magician, uses Englinion, a song spell, to actually coax the tree to release the injured Llay in the form of an eagle back to him. O oak that stands between 2 lakes. Ooh. How about that then?
So it's definitely the card of resurrection, new life, psychic awareness, the ability to discern the path that you're on, and trying really hard to let go of the things that are dead. No sense beating the dead horse.
No, there is nothing to be gained.
Take the next path.
Is it part of growth is realization that, what you're doing no longer serves you. Stop doing it. Wake up to it. Wake up, smell the coffee, so to speak, and continue apace with something completely new, different direction, different path, different whatever. But this is knowledge learned, applied, and that realization and arrival at a place of permanent transformation. So yeah, I think that's probably us with the death card, isn't it?
That's pretty much what we got for you.
It's a very, very powerful card, and not to be feared. But
definitely, if you're just joining us today and this is the first Tarot Talk Tuesday that you've seen, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Absolutely.
And go back and look at the rest of the journey. Start with the Fool and move your way along through these first 13 cards.
It's a journey. Well,
it's actually 14 if we count the Fool as
well. The Fool is the journeyman, is he not?
But take that leap into the tarot and see if some of the things that we've spoken about speak to you. And join us next week.
Yes.
For Temperance.
Oh, is it? We up to Temperance?
I think so.
I don't know. It must be, isn't it?
Or the Tower? I'm not sure.
No, it follows this. Come on. We know what we're doing sometime. Thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, please do like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Peace.
15 minutes. That's all the